Hello again, Lockpicking Paul here, and this is a tool making video. So previously I've picked a Brady lockout, tag out slider lock, and they're not hard to pick, but they are hard to tension. And the reason for that is basically you have to find something to go into this keyway here, which can't tension from the edges. You've got to sort of tension in the first and second bank of pins and put a tensioner between them. So you're sort of tensioning from the center of a lock, a bit like that. So you need a tensioner that you can get in there. And if you watch the other video where I actually pick this particular lock, I go into some detail about where to place this in the lock and things you need to know about the particular tensioner. And this is my tensioner. It was a real fiddle to make it. But the width here is really quite precise. You've got to have like a ground out area to stop the tensioner catching on the lock body. And so, it takes a good half an hour to an hour to make one of these. And you need some good stock material to start with first of all. Now I know of at least 3 other lock sporters who have got this lock sitting in their unpicked box because they haven't yet gotten around to making a tool. And I thought there has to be an easier way. Perhaps there's a better way to make a simpler tool. So I've had a little play. I stuck around in the garage today and I came up with something that works surprisingly well. And I thought I'd share that because it might enable a few more people to make a tensioner and get these things picked. So what I came up with was this, and it's considerably simpler and easier to make than this. So put that down and I'll zoom in. Hopefully we'll get it focused. No, I'm going to switch focus to, or maybe that won't work. Come on. It really isn't sharp, is it? There we go, that's better. There, we got it. So what this is 1.6 millimeter stainless spring wire. And you can get this on Amazon. You have to buy it in bundles, unfortunately. And I get the straight edge stuff, not the stuff that comes off a coil. If you get it comes off a coil, you've got to straighten it out, so that's a pain. Oh, the focus even is back to cause me pain. Right, better, we'll do that. You obviously can't see the wire, it's so narrow. So what I do with this, that return there, that's 10 millimeters. All I do is heat this thing up so it's cherry red. You want to get it super red hot with a blowtorch or something, bend it back on itself, and then with a hammer and maybe part of a vise, you hammer on the top, gives it a flat edge, so it's nice and flat against the main body of the pick arm, and you've got a groove in there. So if for any reason it's not wide enough, you could always stick a blade down that gap and just force it off fractionally for a better grip. But also flatten this either side of this. And the reason for that is when you fold this over on itself, you're effectively getting 3.2 millimeters in width. 3.2 millimeters is not quite enough. It needs to be about 3.4 millimeters to tension or fit in the Brady lock properly. So by whacking it flat, that splays it out slightly and makes it for a really good fit. I've got a curve on this just to make it fit better in my hand when I'm picking, but it doesn't need to be fancy like that. It could just be a straight right angle on here. But that's all it is. It is nothing more than that, and it works in exactly the same way as the other tensioner does. So what I thought I'd do is we'll pick the Brady using this, and we'll have a bit of a demonstration, prove it works. So get the lock, and so in fact this is I've got to admit, it's easier to insert this and pick with it. Now there's a couple of things that are important about this. Let me see if I can turn the light up a bit. Where I've got this sitting in the lock, that return wants to just be below that metal lip that you can see, because obviously when the lock core turns, because the wire is now offset in the lock, it means it won't bind on the body. So that's actually quite important. But that's how it sits in the lock between the first and second bank of sliders. Quite straightforward. So let's pick it. Very gentle tension. And work our way around the sliders. If you need to reposition it, it's actually easier to reposition this than the other one. I certainly noticed once you've picked these Bradys a couple of times, they start to get a bit more sensitive as to how you set the sliders. Fresh out of a packet, they're really easy. But after you've picked them a couple of times, they seem to get a little harder. Yeah, we're nearly there. Got to find which slider's holding us up. Oh, nearly there. One more to go. Move that a little bit. Not sure why we're being held up here. Ah, there you go. Done it. It was the top left slider was stiff. There you go. Works an absolute treat. So if you want to get yourself picking one of these, get some 1.6mm stainless wire. You could probably do it with maybe coat hanger wire. That's normally 2mm. You just have to grind it flat into sort of like a square box. So you're back to filing stuff again if you use a different material, but 1.6mm absolutely works a treat, especially once you sort of hammer it flat. Anyway, that's it. That's how to make a very, very simple tensioner for a Brady slider lock. Hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. Enjoy your picking. Cheers.